Hello YouTube, this is your poster child for overactive brain disorder. This is an Ivory Watchtower production called Dear Mr. Congregation. This is an open letter to Mr. Christian Congregation. You may have met him if you are going through the Kingdom Halls. He signs at the bottom of most of the letters there, Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I'm going to write to him. Dear Mr. Congregation, I am sending this as an open video letter because I have no current means of reaching you directly. I'd like to thank you for your timely updates on theocratic matters, especially those of circuit and special assembly dates. Your insights into the needs of our area, including the respective congregations, is well appreciated. Such detail seems to indicate knowledge of the local area that would suggest you attend the major meetings of our area. Do you? If so, I would like to arrange a location at either the local assembly hall or at the next district assembly so that we could meet and converse over lunch. If that will not work, perhaps we can meet at another time. In any case, I am looking forward to getting to know such a fine brother in Jehovah's service. In addition to sharing stories about our service, I would be interested in getting to know you better as a person, Mr. Congregation. For example, I am sure the story of how you came by that last name is fascinating. I would love to hear more about it. You're the only person I know of with this surname, so how it came to be attached to you should prove compelling. Also, is there a Mrs. Congregation? If so, I would enjoy meeting her. And any kids you might have. This would also be a delight. We could also discuss exactly what you do at your job. Apparently you're working at Bethel, and you write letters, Mr. Congregation, as I have seen several of them. But what I would find even more fascinating would be to find out how you get your information. Are you part of the Gromulumvirate of the 144,000? Maybe you're just a member of the writing committee who happened to get the task of writing letters. These are the things that I would like to know. So, we could discuss this when we get together. Also, notice that you added, Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Why would you need to add that qualifier to your name? Have you found another person named Christian Congregation who's part of another religion? Is there a Mr. Christian Congregation who's a Seventh-day Adventist out there somewhere that you need to distinguish yourself from? Is this other person a Catholic or a Mormon, Buddhist, whatever? Why do you need to add the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses? Now, personally, I would find it amusing if the other person went about calling himself a Christian Congregation of the Congregationalist Christians, Division Street Church of Harmony, New York. To me, that would be a delightful mix of names and titles and endless entertainment if it were true. I know better to assume such is the case, but if it did happen, I would find it personally amusing. So, please let me know. Regardless of this other person who shares your name, please get back to me quickly so we can get these answers and allow me to share fun facts about myself with you. I don't want to go merely taking from you without giving you something of myself in return. That would be a little bit one-sided and rude. So feel free to ask me any questions that you may find relevant, about my life and my particular situation. Give and take. So please accept an expression of my warm Christian love. I know that you end your letters with the asking us to accept an expression of your warm Christian love. So I just thought I'd return the favor. I would have added a Valentine heart for you that read all my love, but I ran out of red construction paper, so I really couldn't build that. So instead, I prepared the following clip. Sincerely, Dominic Riesland. Hello, how you doing? Love you. Have a good one. Bye. See you later. Oh, P.S. Some of my critics don't think you exist, Mr. Congregation. Or should I call you Christian? I really don't think we're at that level of familiarity yet, but Anyway, they seem to think that your name is merely a placeholder for the governing body when they wish to write in the editorial "we," as I like to call it. This would when you just say, "Oh, we believe this," and don't really attach a name to it, so make it sound like it's coming from above. I really don't buy that because such a construct is ludicrous in my eyes. The governing body addresses the congregations every month, so they don't need to hide behind a generic name like that. If the information isn't coming from the faithful and discreet slave, that should be made clear as well, so we know what to do with it. I just don't see that, why they would use a name like Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. The governing body knows how to speak. They've demonstrated that several times already. Also, if it's merely someone from the writing department tagging the pronouncements under the name Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, there's some very interesting implications. First, it would seem to imply that the other congregations, the ones that are being written to as opposed to the ones doing the writing, are either not Christian or not witnesses. I've attended some meetings and can say that at each of them, people there claim not only to be Christians, but actually exemplars of the Christian faith. The idea that they would not be Christians, that's kind of ludicrous, don't you think? If the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses were writing to the Muslim Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, perhaps, or the Hindu Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, or the Jehovah's Witnesses of the Baha'i, or something like that, distinguishing themselves as the Christian congregation would really make some sense. But that's not really what's happening now, is it? As for them not being Jehovah's Witnesses, wouldn't that be even more ludicrous? All the meetings I go to, the people freely admit to being Jehovah's Witnesses. Ask them. They adhere to the doctrines and encourage others to do the same. And so, if they are Christian and they are witnesses, then the people at this congregation being written to are a Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. So who's actually writing to them? Well, I suppose you could argue that the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses is writing to itself. But yeah, it sounds really strange. It's also because it's like, that's some sort of like senility. You get the person who, leaves the note on, on the dresser as to where the socks are because he knows he's going to forget by the time morning comes around. That's a mark of senility, not a mark of God's chosen people. But so this is why I'm convinced that this is that you, Mr. Congregation, are a real person by that name who must distinguish himself from another person so named, because, as I pointed out, any other explanation is even more ridiculous. So, hey, thank you for listening to my open letter here. Please comment, like, or subscribe, and see you next time.